Hey everybody, my name is Trevor.
I'm Thotiana.
And we are the Trevor and Thotiana show. And today we're going to be taking a look at some of the best tracks of February 2018.
No, February 2019. I messed up last time. This time I am woke and I am
So we
alert.
skipped a year and a month?
Yes. Okay. We are in the future. We are, that was the times of old. These are the times of new.
No longer do we have to spend countless hours writing out each and every individual book and script. We can type it up and it's everywhere.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to move on to our February 2019 playlist segment, a segment where we get to talk about all the cool singles and track reveals that have come out over the course of the month that didn't make it into full albums, and put them in the segment where we just get to talk about it. And this is inspired by when we didn't talk about This Is America last year, and it won a bunch of awards for us.
Because it was political, just like Rockstar.
Yes. So without further ado, we're going to move on to some of the best tracks of February 2019, kicking it off with the latest Anna Burch track, Saint Adalbert. This is part of a 7-inch split with Fred Thomas, and Anna Burch released a record last year, Quit the Curse, which ended up being one of the most compelling and interesting pieces of singer-songwriter material that came out last year, and I've been really hoping that she would release something this year. And so if Saint Adalbert is just the latest in a long string of things that she'll be releasing this year, then I will be happy.
Yeah, it's her largest track to date. Just like large sound-wise. Also her most like folky-esque too. Just that like almost folk rock revival sound, like Fleetwood, not Fleetwood Mac, Fleet Foxes.
Close.
Yeah, I got Fleet. That's good enough for me.
Sure. Our next track on here is actually a dumb track, but it's actually really fun.
Okay, here's the thing. What's the track?
It's Blueface's Thotiana. This track came out of absolutely nowhere.
Well, it's not just Blueface.
No, I'm just talking about the bass track.
Okay.
We'll talk about the DLC in a minute.
Okay.
It's just the bass game. Blueface's Thotiana came out of absolutely nowhere. It just started blowing up on Twitter because Blueface has this inability to rap on the beat. He raps all over it, but it's never like right on. But that opening like chorus of Thotiana is super catchy. It's really ridiculous, but it ends up being a really fun track because of that. That bass track didn't make it on the list because it was released like back in December.
Also, it wasn't as good because his verses, besides the hook, aren't entertaining. With these DLC verses from Cardi B and YG, it's perfect. Like, this is what I want out of my dumb hip hop. This is like what Pump can only prove to me. Just something so infectiously stupid. And then Cardi B coming on the track talking about sucking a nut.
Cardi B is Thotiana.
Cardi B is Thotiana. But this is actually one of her most like charismatic verses. Also like super solid flow wise to date. Like past Bodak Yellow Volts towards getting to this very like tone lyrical form, and then YG's back with his still brazy attitude after being too brazy, and it's nice to see he's coming.
Stay dangerous.
After being too brazy, he's now. Was it Stay Dangerous or was the album?
It was Stay Dangerous.
I thought the album was called Too Brazy.
I know. I thought about that last week when you mentioned it.
Oh, well, it was too brazy for me. He was too brazy.
He was being too brazy that he looped back around to being too boring.
But yeah, I felt like it just everything evens out. And yeah, I think the only thing I can say bad about this is it's just too long. The track is.
Yeah.
Just to get through everything. I think Blueface actually didn't need a verse on this because I think that's the whole entire point.
It just needs the hook, in all honesty. Blueface's verses don't add anything. It's literally just the hook that is
extended out.
Part.
Yeah.
We can take that hook and extract it and put it in every track from now on. Music would be saved. Our next couple tracks are from Canadian recording artist Carly Rae Jepsen, who has been forgotten by time, and that is a sin. I wrote an entire like paper about this in my music history class about how everybody forgot about Carly Rae Jepsen, and now she's putting out like some of the best music she's ever put out.
Would you say "Forgotten by Time"? I just imagine of that like urban legend of the guy that like slept underneath a tree.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, for like 20 years, and he woke up.
I think you mean Villain in Shrek.
Yes.
These two tracks, Now That I Found You and No Drug Like Me, again, I'm really hoping are part of like a new, or at least indicating of a new record coming out from her. Her last record, Emotion, was actually really, really fun.
Yeah, that was all the way in 2015.
I miss her.
Please come back. Please come home.
She did some B-sides as well. But,
Yeah, in 2016.
It wasn't.
We want a full project, Carly Rae. That's all we want. These singles are good. They're entertaining, and I just want a full record. There isn't anything much to say. This is fantastic, sweet tooth pop, and that's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. Our next track is Doja Cat's Tamera, which featuring Rico Nasty. So another prominent Rico Nasty feature this year after being on injury reserve track Jawbreaker.
Yeah. This is surprising. So Doja Cat blew up last year after the huge yesterday after the huge meme that was the track Moo, which was stupid, maybe a bit too stupid to the point where it's like almost unfunny because it passed 0 back to 10 and then it went past that to like a 4.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, and the mastering of that track and the mixing was pretty bad, but like there's quirks I could understand with this. I think it's very more fine-tuned. She seems a lot more in her element and willing to be a more bold character and fine-tuning aspects of her own character. Sure. And then actually being a good contrast to Rico Nasty, who has a harsher verse while still being as playful, which I think is really good. And the two pair up really nice over this very like saturated cut.
Yeah. Our next track is by Foxygen, Livin' a Lie. This is their first single. It's first single, right?
Yeah.
First single from their latest record coming out in April 26th, Seeing Other People. It's been a while since we heard from Foxygen.
Yeah.
It's good to hear. Good to hear just new music being made by them.
I don't have too much to say about this one. It's just a quaint little single.
Sure.
That's all you need to know.
Not a quaint little single. Freddie Gibbs and Madlib's Flat Tummy Tea from their latest record, Bandana, coming out later this year, which is a successor to their hit Pinata back in, 2014?
Yeah, 2014.
I'm super excited for this record. Freddie Gibbs kind of put out a little bit of filler material last year.
Looking at it now, I think that was the warm-up for this. He was getting emotionally ready to work with Madlib. He's getting in shape.
Well, in all honesty, that's where Freddie Gibbs made his mark, was Pinata, and then I think he was kind of forgotten about for a little while, just kind of in the sea of these like old school style rappers. He made a trap tape for no reason. It had some pretty decent cuts on there, but also some like really fillery kind of stuff. And now he's coming back even harder than ever with Flat Tummy Tea, pairing up with, of course, producer Madlib, who can work wonders with anybody, really.
Yeah. This thing's just very harsh in the sense of we're getting this kind of like blaxploitation like beat, which I think is really slick. That sampling you expect and production you expect from Madlib, but Freddie Gibbs is on his lyrical peak on this track, and there isn't too much you need to say. It's just an experience. I'm excited for this new record when it comes out, and I hope we get more of this style Freddie Gibbs, because Freddie Gibbs, pound for pound, is a terrific performer.
He's super talented. I want him to use his talents more for what he's actually good at, instead of just trying to like fit in. Next, we've got the collaboration that I never saw coming, Health and JPEGMAFIA with their track Hate You. It's only like a minute 30.
Yeah.
But it's well worth my time.
Yeah, it's something that I didn't think about, but like seeing it on paper, it makes sense. You got noise rock.
No, seeing it on paper doesn't make any sense.
For me, it does.
Hearing it makes sense.
Yeah. No, for me, it does, because it's like noise rock band, Health, JPEGMAFIA, very jagged hip-hop, experimental hip-hop performer, and I think the two pair up nicely. I like how after their latest album, Health, released the soundtrack to some GTA 5 mode. There's just an album on their Spotify thing that now it's just like the soundtrack to like GTA 5, like this new battle arena thing.
The soundtrack to GTA 5 is good.
No, but like there's a new mode, like it just came out.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it. I'm just really interested now because I wanted to see what the
That's funny you mentioned that, because Health, the first time I ever heard Health was in a commercial for one of the Call of Duty games.
Oh.
Back in the day.
I heard him in the Max Payne.
Stop using health. I'm one big thing I want to say about this is like Health just released this 2 volume records, right? Volume 3, Volume 4. And I'm glad that they didn't try to make this track into something more than it was. Because it was literally just like a short collaboration. They cut it down at like a minute 30. That's just what it was. And it was short and sweet to the point, and it worked out really well. They didn't try to extend it. They didn't try to like do anything super special with it. They just let it be what it was. That's what I really enjoyed about this track is that like it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just fun for what it is.
And JPEGMAFIA is his most personality filled yet. Like this is the most sharp image of his personality we're seeing to date. It's almost like from like Black Ben Carson to now, we're seeing the camera slightly shift and focus, and now we're getting full focus, full.
Soon we're gonna see every single pore on his face.
Every single pixel, they all matter.
Next, we're moving on to the latest King Gizzard and the Wizard track, Cyboogie. I thought these guys would be taking like a 6-year nap after releasing 5 albums in 2016?
2017.
2017. Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Whoops. But they're back for some reason.
Yeah, I really like this track.
Yeah.
This is actually one of my favorite singles by them so far to date. I don't know if it's my favorite track by them by any means, but I really enjoyed the single.
It's fun. There's a definite like change in direction. It's more like electronically charged, almost like it opens up almost like a Daft Punk kind of feel before going into like more of a classic King Gizzard kind of sound, fused with more like electronic instruments. And this is the first single off of their next record, Fishing for Fishies.
I really love
Which
that
I
title.
hope will be good based on... I wonder what the gimmick will be.
I hope it's just more...
I hope their gimmick is electronic music.
I hope it's Daft Punk.
Yeah. We're due for a new Daft Punk record, too.
Yeah, sometime in the future. But I hope if they keep on producing tracks like this that are very playful and fun and exciting, and they don't have to be the most catchy or lyrical... depth-filled. They don't have to have a huge lore or universe attached to them. But if we're getting solid playing that shows personality behind it, I'm excited. Because there's a lot of cuts in their 5-hour period, and there's albums in their 5-album in 1 year period where I was just out of tune. It didn't seem like they're really having that much fun. And on this,
it almost seemed like they were taking the challenge like way too seriously. Flying Microtonal Banana was fun. It was the first of the year.
Murder of the Universe
was like bad, and they were like, we're gonna make this deadline and let's make really bad music and just release it. And they just did it. And then like Sketches from New Brunswick was kind of like meh. It was, I mean, I thought they were like taking themselves way too seriously again. Polygon Wonderland, they were just like, this is throwaway stuff, we're gonna put it in the public domain. And then Gumboot Soup, they're like, here's our last album, it's B-sides. And then we got yelled at by everybody and their mother on the internet because we call it B-sides, even though it is B-sides.
That's it.
But
I hope we get more.
But now I hope that they are going to do something more electronically charged, because I think the route that they're going down now is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I can get burnt out on King Gizzard really easily, but I didn't get burnt out on this track alone.
Even the length of it, it's a pretty decent sized track, and the entire lyrics of the entire thing are Cyboogie, and it's just over and over again. But it's really infectious and fun.
Yeah. Our next track is by Lizzo, "Cause I Love You." Coming, of course, that's the title track from her latest record, "Cause I Love You," in April 7th. It's produced by X Ambassadors. This is a name we haven't heard for a couple of years. I started listening to Lizzo back in like 2016, and I really enjoy her energy and her like positivity that she brings to this women in hip hop kind of scene.
Yeah. Something
that like I feel like a niche that not a lot of other artists are touching.
Like a bolder Queen Latifah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My girlfriend really likes Lizzo. I let her listen to one of her tracks, or I put it on her playlist or something, and she absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see like what she continues to make.
Yeah, I've been sleeping on Lizzo. She released a single last year, Boys, which is completely infectious. She released a single last month, no, not last month, 2 months ago at this point, Juice, which is also completely infectious. And this one is the more sultry of the three. And I hope all the singles she's released in the past year get put on her forthcoming album. But this is it's very tender, sultry, but also large in scope, large in charge, but also very bold in its appearance. And I really appreciate it. Not afraid to be itself.
No, it's absolutely not. And I feel like that's what she stands for. Almost like a more rap-heavy Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them collab as well. Our next track on here is the second track by Lou the Human that's come out this year, Painkiller Paradise. Last month, he was on our January playlist, and we talked about how I felt like he was kind of taking more of like a Mac Miller kind of approach. Almost more of like an emo rap kind of thing.
Not emo rap. More of like...
He was incredibly emo.
Yeah, before.
But now he's like he's toning it down. He's doing it in a good way.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated the last single that he put out, and this one I feel like is just another logical step for him.
For this one, I still think Make You Sick is the better single of these two, because I feel like he was the pitching and the auto-tune that was put on that was actually executed really well. This just seems like the logical step in the form of his character, like more a return to form, because last one was more focused on the vocal performance. This one's just more focused on rapping. It's more what you come to expect out of Lou the Human, bold, brash, in your face. But this time it isn't as edgy. We're not getting almost like pseudo emo rap lines, and this is more predominantly like something that would be in hardcore hip hop, not something that would be in emo rap. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for this new album, whatever it's called, to come out. I'm hoping we get a more balanced, more mature Lou the Human, which would be good.
Our next track on here is a track called Feels by this group Mourning, a BLKstar.
Hopefully, I think that's what their name is.
Yeah, I hope that's how it's pronounced. I've only read it. And this quote is from their Bandcamp. It says, Mourning, a BLKstar are a multi-generational, gender and genre non-conforming amalgam of black culture dedicated to servicing the stories and songs of the apocalyptic diaspora. So if you don't have your Webster's dictionary on hand, this is literally just the Soulquarians.
But this new track they're giving us a lot of like dark, almost distorted, like storytelling, almost like Lonnie Holly-esque from his last record, Myth. Similar to that, so if you're a fan of that, I think you'll really appreciate this. But I'm really excited because it feels like we're just going to get really interesting storytelling, and I'm really excited to see probably really dynamic storytelling as well, because I feel like they have a lot of different members. So
I like that there's a lot of members, because this could easily go from Lonnie Holly sitting in a junkyard telling him his story to multiple Lonnie Hollies talking to you, like showing like war stories or something. I think this could escalate really quickly into something that's super interesting, almost in the way of like talking to your grandparents about like their lives. Which is something that I like to do. Not everybody likes to do that, but I'm excited for it.
I'm really excited for it. It seems like it's an interesting project. The album art for it's actually really cool as well.
And their next, their album comes out on May 10th. It's called Reckoning. Here's a name that you might recognize. Quelle Chris with his latest single, Guns, the title track off of his latest record coming out on March 29th. Quelle Chris is somebody that I hold near and dear to my heart. He had my favorite album, Being Used Great, I Wish I Could Be You More Often, back in 2017. And of course, with Jean Grey, it released Everything Is Fine last year, both of which are absolutely incredible, fantastically written records. Quelle Chris just adds this level of quirkiness and fun to his work.
While still being experimental and offbeat.
Yeah, but his latest single, Guns, actually feels more of a political statement than anything that he's made. It's
more like a linear narrative for him, which is something he really doesn't use. It's like easy to understand the basis of it on the first listen. It's essentially critiquing guns by using kind of normal hip hop quirks about characteristics of guns. So,
but it's still delivered in the classic Quelle Chris kind of way that he doesn't lose himself in the making and performing of this track. It's really thought provoking. It's honestly one of the best pieces of hip hop narrative I've heard this year.
Yeah.
And we're only in March, so definitely subject to change, but so far,
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed this track, and I've latched onto it a lot. It's also just really nice to hear more Quelle.
Yeah,
it's been a little while.
It's also one of his catchiest tracks to date.
That hook is incredibly catchy.
Yeah, and the fact that it is kind of offbeat and weird and out there, over the course of the entire track, it's very dynamic as well. Just adds to it. I'm really excited. If anyone can go 3 for 3 albums in a row, it has to be him. He had the fantastic being used great. I wish he can be more often, and then the dynamic chemistry between him and Jean Grey last year. I'm super excited. I hope this works out.
Not to mention his latest album will probably bring a lot of features from other really great artists like Jean Grey, Denmark Vesey, Hannibal Buress. I mean, he could work with Open Mic, MC Paul Barman, Milo, literally anybody in that camp. Quelle, I feel like, has ties to. So I'm just excited to see everything that he brings with him. Our next track is New House by Rex Orange County, bringing back that just classic Rex Orange County feel-good, sing-songy types of melodies.
Yeah.
It's...
Blue Eye Soul. That's all you need to know.
Sure. It's heartwarming, but it's
Tender.
also a lot of fun.
Yeah. Hope we get an album from him. We haven't heard much from him. He was putting out a lot of singles at the end of 2017, and then 2018 he was really quiet. So I hope we get follow-up to his last project, I think Apricot Princess in 2017, which I never listened to. So I hope going into a first full album.
Sure. Our next track is another remix on here. It's Teyana Taylor's Gonna Love Me from her last record last year with Kanye West producing. But this time it features half of the Wu-Tang Clan. Ghostface, Killah, Method Man, and Raekwon are all three on this track. I think it actually really, really boosts the performance up. It's got that same catchy, old school, like soul hook.
For me, because it adds levels, especially Ghostface verse, which seems like the counterweight to Teyana Taylor's.
I love Ghostface verse and ad-libs. He's almost like responding to her when she says, you know, when she's like talking and her ad-libs. He's like giving these like counter ad-libs as responses, and like it's kind of weird, but it's also like kind of cute.
Yeah,
it's more of a cute kind of track, and I like to see this like more tender side of the these really like hard rappers when they are now working with like a new up and coming woman.
Yeah,
it's just. Like I said, it's like tender, but it drives that narrative a lot more than the original track does. I really prefer this remix, actually.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
This song came out in December. I think I may have mentioned it during the Grammys, the second Grammy predictions, but I forgot. But I've been in the Wu-Tang mood recently. We had that Ghostface Czarface project. I've been listening to both Only for Cuban Links by Raekwon recently. I just been in that headspace, that Wu-Tang headspace. So I thought, why not bring up this track? Because I've been listening to it quite a bit recently.
Fun. We've got two more singles now from an artist that we heard a lot from last year. We heard a lot of buzz from Tierra Whack. These last two tracks, Clones and Only Child, bring more of that quirky Tierra Whack goodness in a little bit longer format as well.
It's super quirky while still being minimal in production. These are fuller tracks when compared to Whack World because they're longer than a minute, but they may not
only 1 minute.
Yeah, the entire album. While not being probably some of her catchiest material today, I think these songs are infectious, regardless of may not being some of her sharpest hooks. My favorite of the two is Only Child. I like the narrative she's playing on the track and how this person's very selfish, almost like they're grown up, an only child. And I like the line, I think it's, I used to arch my back for you, but now I'm your arch nemesis, or something like that along the lines. It shows off her character, her quirk, and I hope she improves on what she is. I hope we're getting these longer, very catchy and quirky tracks. Sure. I don't know. I feel like 2019 is going to be a huge year for her, because 2018 was a huge year for her, and she put out only 15 minutes of material. So 2019, if she puts out more material,
it'll be
better.
Going into the home stretch here, one of our last tracks with Wiki with Cheat Code.
Yeah.
Has one of the ugliest GIFs I've ever seen, too.
Manhattan rapper Wiki is back again. I'm really excited to see what he puts out. I don't think I have really anything to say. I think this is more a return for form with him. It's very like video game centered, has this weird like PS1 like beat. just kind of all over the place. It has this weird like hook where he's like saying what the actual cities of GTA are in comparison. So this is not Liberty City, it's New York. This is not San Andreas, this is LA. Just this weird all over the place kind of track, and I'm really just seeing what's the follow up to it because I think it could be something really good. Wiki's an artist that I feel like can grab me with his singles, but he hasn't really grabbed me with a project yet. So I hope with his next solo project we're getting something as punchy as this.
Sure. Next, we've got a track by Zack Fox and Kenny Beats called Square Up.
Yeah, the song came out last year, but I thought since they had a music video release of this and that it's been stuck in my head since the music video, just as I managed to get it out of my head from last year, I thought I should mention it on this. Zack Fox, LA comedian, Kenny Beats, producer, works with the likes of Rico Nasty and JPEGMAFIA. And recently, the two have been fighting each other on Twitter, and it is fucking hilarious. Those two in Rico Nasty, it's just a constant burial of Kenny Beats, and it's hilarious.
Poor guy.
But yeah, this track is goofy. It's kind of a critique of hip hop, but at the same time, following all the tropes of hip hop. Just goofy, out of the wall, stupid, dumb fun. That's all you need to know. Sure. Zack Fox is not a rapper, and it shows. But he still brings character to the table that makes this track worthwhile. And Kenny Beats on production.
Sure, it's like Nick Offerman on the latest Quelle Chris record.
Yeah.
He's not a rapper. Hannibal's not a rapper.
Yeah.
But they're still on there, and it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Bringing out the rear here with our last track is Zack Villere with Leaf. Zack Villere is kind of like just this nerdy guy who makes music, and it's really fun and compelling, and I feel like it also like reads your inner conscious.
Yeah, it's very quaint alternative R&B.
Yeah.
Yeah, like pseudo Brockhampton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're all nerds.
Yeah. Well, they are all nerds.
They're just gay. This ends the playlist. I hope you guys.
You're just gonna end it there.
Yeah.
You don't want anything to say, but Zack Villere over the last like 2 years has been putting out like solid singles. He had an album in 2017, which I haven't listened to, but he's had singles like "Cool" and my personal favorite, "The Fort," and he just keeps on putting out the singles. And I hope this year we're getting more of that style. I think he's just doing good work, and I want a full project from this year, or at least a project in any form, whether it be an EP or mixtape. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I think this song is really chill. It's really simple. That's all you need to know.
Sure. All right, this is the real end of the playlist. I hope you guys check out these tracks. Hope you find a new favorite song till we come back next month at the end of March with even more great songs. I've been Trevor.
I've been Vincent.
And this is the Anthony Todd Show's playlist segment. Bye,
See you guys
everybody.
next time.